Today I'm going to talk about my favorite film cameras and why I like them each. Individually, I've almost been exclusively shooting in film for like 4 years now. So my probably favorite camera is my Minolta. Um, this is the X300, but I had an X700 before that, which broke because it went through so much abuse. Took it everywhere with me, dropped it and stuff. Um, this camera takes gorgeous photos. It's such a good camera that you could take anywhere. I have a 50mm lens on this like 99% of the time. Um, and if you're going to buy one, try and get an 1.7 aperture, which just means you get better shutter speed, so less blurry photos. And it's really easy to use. All kind of 35mm film cameras, like Pentax and stuff like this, they're all pretty similar. So you don't necessarily have to get a Minolta, but it's just what I've always had. Yeah, they're just gorgeous cameras, and like they just take the most beautiful macro shots, but aren't necessarily exclusive to macro shots. So they're a really good all-rounder camera. My next favorite is probably my Diona. I do also have a Diona Mini, which does half frame cap shots, so you can get 72 photos on a roll of 35mm film, which is really awesome. These cameras are really easy, really experimental. They take really like dreamy photos. They like just don't have a very like sharp focus, and they're really blurry around the edges, but a bit more sharper in the middle. They're like gorgeous, and yeah, it's so experimental. I love it. Like you just have no idea how the photos will turn out. And it's a really really light camera as well. The thing literally weighs nothing. It's all plastic, so it's really easy to just tuck like 2 cameras in your bag. And the Diona Mini is even lighter. The lens I would recommend is the 35mm, but it automatically comes with a 55. The only reason I'd recommend the 55 is the 35 is the like viewfinder is set to about 20mm, which is about the view like you get from your eye. So when like you look through it, you'll actually be so much more zoomed in than what you see through the viewfinder, because it's just plastic. It's not like actually reflective of what you can see through the lens, if that makes any sense. But I love this camera so much. It's so great. Next, I would say is probably my Rolleiflex. I got this for about £300 off eBay because I really wanted to get into like shoot photography and shooting in 120 film, because I never had before I got this camera. Simply because I didn't have a 120 film camera. It takes like really gorgeous photos with like really little grain, mainly because I use color slide film, which is like the opposite to like normal color film. It creates like a really mini photo called a positive. It's not in negative, so you have less grain, and you can also cross process it, which makes really really cool colors. You should look into it if you're interested. Yeah, the downside is it's really heavy. It's a very heavy camera, and also like the way you like look to take pictures is you open up the top like so, but everything's mirrored. It's back to front, which is a little hard to like what's the word? Like when you're trying to compose your picture. That's it. Mechanically, it's pretty sound. This camera's really old and still works like a charm. It is a little complicated to figure out like how to load and stuff. So I'd recommend you look into some tutorials. I also recommend that you buy some filters to stick on the end so you don't scratch your lenses, because when they're gone, they're gone. They're not removable. So yeah, if you scratch them, that's it. Next, I recently, only like a few weeks ago, got a Polaroid land camera. You can still buy film for this from people. It's called the Impossible Project. It works out to be roughly like £2 a Polaroid, but it is so worth it. My little sister's had a Polaroid for a few years. She actually bought mine off me because I couldn't afford the film. So I have seen a lot of Polaroid pictures taken by Impossible Film before. I've only actually taken 2 on this camera, but I'll show you one of the photos. I don't know if you can see, but the colours are like gorgeous. You should look on their website for some examples, because they literally take beautiful images. Yeah, I have been having a bit of problems like figuring out where to have the exposure wheel, which basically either lightens or darkens your shot. None of my shots have come out great so far, but I have only taken 2. Next, I have like a fisheye. It's a Lomography fisheye. I picked this up for about £20 off eBay. Again, it's really light, mainly made of plastic, and it's just a really fun little camera. Like, it takes really cool shots, and it has a built-in flash. I don't like flash personally, but it means you don't have to have a flash head, which is quite nice. Reduces the bulk. Next, I have my glow-in-the-dark Holga. The tape on it is because I have 35mm film on this. I did a little DIY. I can link that below as well if you're interested, because Holgas don't actually have a 35mm back. They only have 120, whereas with Diona's you can get a 35mm back for it. So it's a little bit experimental, but it does also, when you do this, shoot right up to the edges of the film, including the sprockets, the little holes, so you get really cool looking pictures. This camera takes really funky photos, quite similar to the Diona. I just was intrigued to have them both. They're both really iconic toy cameras, so I think I prefer the Diona. So yeah, I hope you find this useful.